A few words about the Second Amendment and the gun control debate. I view any form of extremism as a threat to our Constitution, a threat to our liberties. And we see plenty of extremism in the gun control debate. One side of the extremism is this: we need to remove all weapons from all civilians. And that is not necessary. That is a form of extremism. It is a removal of rights. It is an abridgment of the Constitution, and I certainly don't agree. Most guns are not used to harm other people. And there are instances, of course, when they are. So I don't agree with that philosophy of absolute removal of guns from the entire public. No. However, the other side of the extreme is basically I can have whatever gun I want and carry it about however I feel I want to carry it about, whenever I feel I want to carry it about, and if I am stopped by an officer who asks for my ID and runs my driver's license number and makes sure that I am doing what I am doing legally, then the policeman is in the wrong. Well, that's an extremism on the other side. Because basically what you're doing there is you are tying the hands of the law enforcement. And when you tie the hands of the law enforcement to see to the public, or see to the safety of the general public, then what you are doing is you are feeding and giving ammunition to the extremists that want to remove all of your weapons. You are. Because even me, and I consider myself a Second Amendment rights advocate to a given degree. I believe in the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. And if you win, then I will have to stand with the gun grabbers. I will. Because for no other reason I can give you this. Huberty and the McDonald's shooting, and I can't remember exactly when it happened. The last name Huberty open carried 3 weapons into a McDonald's in the 1980s somewhere in the West Coast and killed a bunch of people, including a 5-month-old baby. So if we are going to have such a strict and literal interpretation of the Constitution that says a cop can't even stop you when you are carrying around a weapon capable of killing 26 children or 17 people in a McDonald's restaurant, to make sure that you are saying to make sure you have no nefarious purposes, then you're threatening my safety. And you're threatening the safety of my children. You're threatening the safety of my grandmother. So, if you win, then I will have to switch sides really quick with the with the gun grabbers. I will, because your right to open carry to that extreme does nothing more but to empower the criminal. And so basically what I'm saying is we have to find some kind of compromise here. We have to find some kind of middle ground. Now, at the time of the drafting of the Bill of Rights, the top-end firearms were flintlock weapons. Now, rifling was there, and these weapons were fairly accurate. Today, we have something called the AR-15, and this has a vast array of technology that our forefathers could not even conceive of ever existing. We're talking about advanced rifling techniques, self-loading technology, and sealed ballistic cartridges, and we're even talking about the ejection or the detonation of the load with the pin. We're still talking about over here in 1776 your load being detonated by a spark, and now we've come all the way down to a pin, and between that was a percussion. So the technology that you have with your AR-15 is something that our forefathers could not even conceive of. Your flintlock weapon has a rate of fire of up to 3 or 4 rounds per minute, and firing that fast was actually quite dangerous. The AR-15 semi-automatic has a rate of fire of 45 rounds per minute. The muzzle velocity of a flintlock was 300 feet per second, and that's the top end. And in fact, I believe that to get that much of a muzzle velocity from a flintlock, you need to be using modern gunpowder. The muzzle velocity of an AR-15 is 3,200 feet per second. The effective range of a flintlock, and this is how far that a flintlock weapon could effectively be aimed and discharged and strike and take down its target. The effective range of a flintlock was approximately 100 yards or less. The effective range of an AR-15 is 550 yards. The amount of power here that we have with a over-the-counter, if you will, AR-15 can't even be compared to a flintlock rifle that our forefathers knew of. So for someone to turn around and say that our forefathers had in mind the ability of us to carry around weapons that have such an extreme power they could not even conceive of is ridiculous. So either form of the extreme, from the gun grabber to the I can have whatever it is I want and carry it about however it is I want to carry about doing it, both of you are a threat to liberty. Both of you. So we as a nation need to sit down and we need to consider, instead of bickering about what the forefathers had in mind, look at what's going on right here, right now. Take a look at the power of the weapons that we have at our disposal right now and determine what is reasonable and constitutional. For you to turn around and say that it's constitutional for you to have a weapon that our forefathers could not even conceive of ever coming into existence, that fails. That doesn't work. And on the other side of the coin, for you to turn around, the gun grabbers, if you will, to turn around and say, well, guns are dangerous to anybody and everybody, all they do is cause death, so we need to remove all weapons from everybody, that is an asinine statement also. So that's my little dissertation here, and I believe in the ability to have a weapon for sporting purposes. I believe in having the ability to have a weapon for home defense and personal defense. But I don't believe that you should be able to walk down the street with an AR-15 and a shotgun and a Browning semi-automatic 9mm 15-round clip in your magazine in your hip. Both of these are forms of extremism, and both of these are threats to our liberty. Thank you for listening. Oh, and I would also mention one other thing. Both of these forms of extremism are not only threats to our liberty, but also to our safety. Thank you for listening.